It's just like the most sugary drink that doesn't have sugar. Like,
What are they using for a sweetener?
I don't know. They taste like Kool-Aid with 3 times the sugar in it.
Really?
When do you guys just say fuck it and just
The honest answer, when we both hit that beat.
I'm out this bitch when I hit that beat.
I'm out.
And you're gonna see it unhinged, unfiltered.
Yo, I can't wait, Jake.
Logan Paul, KSI, Coca-Cola, and even Messi. Sounds like a random guest list, right? But somehow, these names crashed into each other in one of the wildest brand meltdowns we've seen in years.
We want you to give it a go.
You to give it
See
a
what you think.
review.
Prime, okay, so Jesus.
Loosely.
It's like swallowing perfume. What is that? I'll send it to Nigella to cook her pork ribs in.
Prime Hydration was once hyped up as a billion-dollar beast, ready to shake up the entire drink game. This wasn't just some cute little energy drink, nah. Prime exploded onto the scene like a full-blown storm. Co-signed by Logan Paul and KSI, backed by sold-out drops, and flaunted by top-tier athletes like Erling Haaland, it had Gen Z hooked like candy. People were straight up saying Prime could go toe-to-toe with Coca-Cola and win. Billion-dollar valuation already in the bag. But in less than 3 years, that dream blew up in their face. Prime started catching heat from every direction. Nasty claims about toxic ingredients, lawsuits stacking up from state to state, and whispers about shady business moves. Then came the ultimate sports betrayal. Messi kept his distance, and Ronaldo straight up curved them in front of the world. That's a PR nightmare you can't just rebrand away. Once the shine wore off, reality hit hard. Sales nosedived more than 90%, almost overnight. Fans who once fought to grab a bottle were now walking past Prime like it was expired milk. And now, you can catch it chilling on Walmart clearance racks like a forgotten TikTok trend. From billion-dollar hype to barely being worth lunch money. Prime's crash was fast, messy, and loud. But the question is, can Logan and KSI actually pull off a comeback? Or is this brand done for good? Let's break it down with the cold, hard numbers. Because numbers don't lie, even if hype does. In 2023, Prime wasn't just some electrolyte drink. It was a full-on cultural takeover. You couldn't escape it. From sweaty gym floors to UFC rings, from school hallways to massive stadiums, Prime was in everybody's hands. Influencers like Mr. Beast were blasting it out, fighters like Israel Adesanya were sipping it on camera, and kids were hunting limited edition bottles like they were shiny Pokemon cards. For a solid run, Prime wasn't just a drink, it was a trophy. Logan Paul and KSI had turned their billion-dollar fantasy into something real, at least for a minute. And for Logan, who's been loud about wanting billionaire status since day one, Prime looked like the fastest rocket ship to that goal. The game plan was obvious. Muscle into Gatorade's turf, stomp on Powerade and body armor, and grab enough of the market so some industry giant would drop a fat buyout check. If it all went according to script, Prime would sit at the top of the sports drink food chain. That could mean hundreds of millions, maybe even billions, for Logan and KSI when the buyout came. And Logan's net worth was already flexing past $150 million by 2025, so you know he was smelling that big payday. Here's where it gets wild. Rumor says Logan owned about 20% of Prime. That means for him to get his billionaire moment, the company needed to sell for at least $5 billion. And Logan? He was willing to push the brand in ways nobody else would. From plastering Prime all over fight promotions to even using his wife's pregnancy announcement as a backdrop to hype a new product called Lunchly. Yeah, he was that locked in. But here's the thing, when you're chasing billions that hard, the line between clever marketing and desperate grabs can get real blurry. And that's when cracks start showing. At this point, it doesn't matter how many flashy ads they drop or big-name collabs they lock in. Prime's in a free fall. If a company's rise is like a rocket launch, then Prime's is now a smoking chunk of metal crashing back to Earth with no parachute in sight. And trust me, not even Michael Jackson's smoothest moonwalk could compete with how fast Prime is sliding backwards. To really feel how bad it's gotten, we gotta look across the pond at the UK numbers. And they're brutal. Prime's revenue there tanked by 70%. dropping from 112.2 million pounds to just 32.8 million pounds. But the gut punch? Net profit nosedived from 3.7 million pounds to a sad 310,000 pounds. That's around $429,000. For a brand that once screamed billion-dollar empire, that's pocket change.
We've gone from 200 million, 450 million to 700 million, and this year will be 1.1 billion in revenue. And the Coca-Cola bottlers have done an amazing, amazing job getting this brand to the next level.
Now sure, costs bounce around year to year, so profit alone can fool you. But the revenue, that's the real nightmare. Over in the US, sales have already dipped more than 50% just in the first half of 2024. And when you zoom out to the global picture, it's even uglier. Prime's total revenue has crashed by a staggering 92% in less than 2 years. That's not just a fall. That's a record-setting wipeout in the food and drink game. Of course, Prime's PR team is out here trying to spin it, saying this is just a natural correction after the hype wave. But then came the curveball, a lawsuit out of nowhere that forced them to slam the brakes and rethink their whole playbook. From the outside looking in, that move screamed panic to both investors and anyone thinking of buying them out. Right now, Prime's once blinding spotlight is fading fast. And in the brand world, when the lights go out, they don't always come back on. Why would any big corporation throw billions at a rocket that's already spinning out of control? These giants aren't in the business of playing rescue missions. They stick with brands that show steady growth, proven loyalty, and long-term money flow. And right now, Prime's looking more like a cautionary tale than an opportunity. Look at Body Armor's Glow Up, like it's a masterclass in how to play the long game. They spent 7 years stacking real, sustainable growth before Coca-Cola even touched them. Coke first grabbed a 15% stake in 2018, watched the brand explode with a 180% revenue jump the very next year, then double again by 2021. And only then did Coca-Cola scoop up the rest.
And the problem here is that the product has so much caffeine in it, it's targeted at kids under 18.
That's patience and performance, two things Prime just doesn't have right now. And here's the blunt truth. Prime was never about the drink. This wasn't some carefully crafted formula that could stand toe-to-toe with the big boys on taste or quality. Nah, it was a brand built on Logan Paul's face slapped on a bottle, a hype machine powered by celebrity clout, not product substance. That's great for a viral moment, but deadly when the hype runs dry. Think of it like Gordon Ramsay judging a dish. One sniff and he knows if it's gourmet or garbage. Prime? Once the hype storm cleared, all it did was expose the cracks in Logan Paul's so-called business empire. And what's underneath isn't exactly making corporate buyers drool. Prime didn't just hit the scene, it blasted in like a firework the second Logan Paul and KSI were running the internet. These two knew exactly how to milk their massive followings, flipping a basic electrolyte drink into a status symbol practically overnight. It wasn't about hydration. It was about holding the same bottle your favorite influencer was flexing online. But here's the cold truth. Fame is like fast fashion. It goes out of style quick. And when that spotlight dims, your brand better have real backbone to survive. Prime? Nah, it didn't have that core. The numbers are brutal. Customer retention is in the gutter, average spending has dropped off a cliff, and new buyers, almost non-existent. Why? Simple. People tried it, shrugged, and went back to drinks they actually like. Once the gotta try it hype wore off, Gatorade, Body Armor, and Powerade welcomed everyone back with open arms. And the marketing? Barely there. When's the last time you saw Prime on an actual billboard, a polished TV ad, or dominating the sidelines of a major game without Logan or KSI standing there? Exactly. You haven't. Their whole campaign lived and died on influencer marketing, which works until it doesn't. Because here's how it really plays out. When influencers stop shouting about it, people stop searching for it. When people stop searching, sales tank. When sales tank, stores stop giving you shelf space. And once you're off those shelves, that's the domino effect that crushes a brand, one link at a time. And just when things couldn't look any worse, the stores started pulling back their orders. And that's when the lawsuits came crashing in. Like a bad storm, one case after another piled up, and suddenly Prime wasn't just fighting for sales, it was fighting for survival.
We check every batch. We are FDA regulated, also third-party certified with world-class groups like NSF. We have an amazing group of quality folks.
These aren't small claims either. We're talking tens of millions of dollars on the line, plus the kind of bad press that can crush a brand's reputation overnight. The first big hit came from their own manufacturing partner, Refresco, and it's a monster of a lawsuit. They're demanding $67 million, saying Prime broke a long-term supply deal they had locked in. According to the suit, Prime promised to buy a set minimum of product over 3 years. But when sales started free-falling, they allegedly bailed without paying the penalty fees. For a brand already bleeding cash, a hit this big could wipe out their budget and scare off every potential investor sniffing around for a buyout. And that was just round one. Next, a wave of lawsuits zeroed in on Prime's ingredients, labeling, and transparency, the kind of stuff that makes consumers lose trust instantly. One high-profile case is accusing Prime Energy of lying about its caffeine content. They advertise 200 milligrams per can, but independent lab tests say the real number is closer to 215 to 225 milligrams.
The hydration beverages that are on the market right now are like either A, not good for you, B, tastes like Gatorade's been around for 15 years, has 120 calories. It's so high in sugar, it's garbage.
That might not sound huge to some, but in the beverage industry, getting caught with false numbers is like handing your competitors a loaded weapon. Sure, 15 extra milligrams of caffeine might not sound like a big deal, but in the drink game, even tiny label slip-ups can get you slapped with false advertising claims. And once that door's open, you're basically inviting a wave of nitpick lawsuits from every angle. But it doesn't stop there. Another case is going after Prime for sloppy nutrition labels, saying they're failing to clearly show the real calorie count, electrolyte breakdown, or any solid proof of the health benefits they brag about. And here's the kicker. Today's shoppers are sharper than ever. People read labels, Google ingredients, and want full transparency before they spend a dime. So when a brand gets caught hiding or sugarcoating what's in the bottle, it's like ripping the trust right out of your customer's hands.
If a parent came into my doctor's office, I would not recommend that their child drink this for lunch.
That's the kind of hit you don't recover from easy. But instead of damage control, Logan Paul's out here playing celebrity nutritionist on YouTube, cranking out videos, hyping up Prime like it's the holy grail of hydration. He's bragging about their state-of-the-art production lines and deep pockets like they've already won Brand of the Year. It's a lot of self-congratulation, but not a lot of fixing the actual problems. Yeah, they claim every batch of Prime is tested and nothing leaves the factory without quality control signing off. But let's be real, that doesn't erase the lawsuits, the bad headlines, or the customers walking away. And with profits still flatlining while legal bills keep stacking higher, Prime's hype train is starting to sound more like a last call before the lights go out. And now, like clockwork.
What IV has 870 milligrams of electrolytes, and the Prime Stick has 871 milligrams of electrolytes.
When you don't even know what the difference is and why it would be useful to maybe have some sodium in there, it's actually kind of laughable, to be honest.
Another lawsuit steps into the ring with Logan Paul. This time, it's Agana, Prime's raw material supplier, coming in hot for $13 million, claiming Prime straight up didn't pay for orders they placed. Agana says the brand's got serious cash flow problems, while Prime fires back with a countersuit, saying the materials were trash and didn't meet their standards. No matter who's telling the truth, it's a huge red flag, showing the inside of this company might be way messier than anyone thought. But hold up, because that's not even the nastiest one. Enter the PFS lawsuit, and this one's got a dangerous twist. A plaintiff says Prime's grape-flavored drink contains a PFSA chemical, something the EPA literally classifies as hazardous. Long-term exposure? We're talking serious health risks. Prime's lawyers are scrambling to get the case tossed, but court moves slow. And every day it drags on, the headlines get worse, and it still doesn't stop there. A wave of other lawsuits are coming after Prime for how they've been pushing their high-caffeine energy line as safe for kids and teens, a claim that's already raising eyebrows. The packaging colors between the caffeine-free hydration bottles and the caffeine-loaded energy bottles, practically twins. Critics say that's no accident. They're accusing Prime of deliberately blurring the lines so kids accidentally grab the energy version. And guess what? Plenty of them have. This isn't just sketchy marketing, it's reckless. If the courts decide it's misleading conduct that could harm children, Prime won't just be paying out settlements. They'll be wearing the unsafe brand label for years to come. And just when you thought the lawsuit list couldn't get any weirder, here comes the United States Olympic Committee. The USOC went after Prime for dropping a Team USA edition featuring Kevin Durant without actually getting permission to use Olympic names or symbols. They even sent a cease and desist letter. And Prime straight up ignored it. The result? They got slapped with a lawsuit and had to settle out of court. Now think about it, if Prime had somehow won that fight, do you really think Logan Paul would have stayed quiet? Not a chance. He would have been all over social media, gloating like it was the knockout of the century. But the fact they stayed silent, that's the quiet kind of, yeah, we messed up that speaks volumes. And here's the crazy part. Instead of tightening up their operations, fixing product issues, or repairing their image, the Prime crew, led by Logan Paul, went full throttle into a cocky marketing blitz. The tone, straight up arrogant, throwing shade at anyone in their lane. Logan himself, along with Mr. Beast, who just stepped into the food and beverage scene, have been quick to trash rivals like Gatorade, Liquid IV, and even Lunchables in public. Competition's not the problem. That's just business. But the attitude? That's the part that stinks. A solid brand doesn't have to tear everyone else down to build itself up. And to make it worse, health experts are now stepping in, blasting Prime's claims and refusing to endorse it. One doctor even said, "If a parent came into my office, I would not recommend that their child drink this for lunch." When even the most basic side-by-side comparisons start making your product look bad, that's when you know you've got a real problem on your hands. The hard truth, Prime isn't some elite athlete-grade electrolyte drink. It's basically flavored water with a splash of potassium, a hit of sucralose, and just enough marketing magic to fool people for a while. Yeah, it's drinkable, but worth the hype? Not even close. And when you start taking shots at other brands without real science to back it up, you're not just chipping away at them. You're dragging your own name down with you. That's exactly where Logan Paul and Prime have landed, tearing themselves apart in public. This whole saga isn't just about lawsuits piling up, critics calling out the product, or missed deals with suppliers. It's about arrogance, poor planning, and a business model built entirely on hype. Prime blasted off too fast, swung too wild, and when the market flipped on them, they had nothing left but gimmicks, trash talk, and endless self-praise on live streams. Logan's billionaire buyout fantasy, that's looking more like a pipe dream now. No serious investor is touching a brand whose entire identity is tied to controversy and whose growth plan feels more like cosplay than commerce. But what about you? Have you actually tried Prime? Do you believe the big claims Logan keeps making, or do you see through the hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. And before you go, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next big celebrity meltdown we break down. Click on the next video you see on your screen for even more jaw-dropping celebrity drama. Trust me, you're not gonna want to miss it.